This is the Talk Wrestling Radio Network. All the wrestling with none of the ego.
If you want the latest news, results, opinions, and discussion on the world of wrestling, check out WrestlingFusion.com. Add your own comments to the posts on the site and interact with other like-minded fans on the forums. That's not all, as we are celebrating the February 18th debut of Pro Wrestling Eve on Internet Pay-Per-View with a competition to give away a free viewing to 2 lucky entrants. Check out WrestlingFusion.com for full details. Wrestling Fusion is not affiliated with Pro Wrestling Eve or any other wrestling organization.
Live from episode 99, recorded January 31st, 2012, it is the FTW Podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. I am Harrison, and with me as always is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
How awesome was the Rumble? Anyway, keep going.
Rob, say hello, Rob.
Hey.
Kevin, say hello, Kevin.
Sup?
And Garvin is manning the boards as always. First up on the docket, want to tell everyone to please don't forget to check out TWRnetwork.com for all the latest news in wrestling. And while you're there, sign up for the new TWR Network newsletter that'll be emailed to you once a week. Talk Wrestling Radio is a 24/7 network. Tune in throughout the day for wrestling talk, show recaps, great music, including wrestling themes. Listen to and download all the shows on the network and leave those comments all over iTunes. We love your feedback. To truly experience what the network is all about, attend all the shows live and be a part of the chat room. It's a lot of fun. And besides this show, check out The Rant on Tuesdays at 8, our show Wednesdays at 3 p.m., the Ringside Report on Fridays at 9, Wrestling Randomness Saturdays at 7, and the Wrestling Call-In Show. I swear it sounds a generic name, but it's actually a great show, on Saturdays at 11 p.m. and Marked Up, no E, apostrophe D, on Sundays at 6 p.m. Next week is our 100th episode. We reached out to Scott, Connor, Mike from PW Torch, all of our greatest hits, and the few of our other guests. So we should have a packed house for our milestone show. There will be information on how to get involved on our website at ftwpodcast.com/live. And also, to celebrate our 100th episode, we are offering FTW designed and approved merchandise. Head over to ftwpodcast.spreadshirt.com. If you have a torso and need to protect it from the harsh world and find that your coconut bra just isn't doing enough for you, we have you covered literally. ftwpodcast.spreadshirt.com with an assortment of designs for the most discerning of wrestling fans. We are aggressively awesome.
Breathe, Harrison, breathe.
Oh, yeah, that felt good. Yeah, it is. We don't need no water. I'm bringing the fucking house down. Let that sucker burn. Rob, now that I'm done,
and haven't died from lack of oxygen.
I'm gonna have to lay down for a minute. Why don't you lead us in? What was your absolute favorite thing about Impact last week?
I'd have to say the best thing about Impact was the Alex Shelley versus Zema Ion match. Given how much time Alex Shelley has missed, he showed absolutely no signs of ring rust. He got in and went, right off, hit the ground running, and he and Zema Ion put on a great match. I think that was pretty much the highlight of Impact.
Awesome. Fantastic. Okay, so once again, I do want to talk about this because I've mentioned it before. The kind of mixed... the mixed doubles tag team, ODB and EY versus Winter and Angelina Love. Given that it wasn't so much a sausage fest this time, and the odds were stacked a little bit more in EY's favor for a good time, do you think that tag match was all right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it worked for comedic relief value, but these matches, in this match, it was basically ODB fighting a handicap match. I mean, Eric Young really got no offense outside of, the airplane spin because, Spike and no other network is going to showcase a guy hitting a girl. So the match really handicaps TNA as to what they can show. I think they made it work, but I think they really have to find something else to do with this gimmick and quickly.
Really? It's basically treading water at this point.
Right.
Okay. All right, so the absolute low point in the show, though?
The low point in the show, I'm going to have to say, was going to be Matt Morgan and Samoa Joe, because, I was just saying this last week about how, we were hearing the Joe's going to kill you chant back, and it looked like Joe was going, and then they put him against Matt Morgan, and he gets crushed. And, it's just, I like the after-match brawls and everything, but at the end of the day, if you want fans to get behind Magnus and Samoa Joe, you need some idea. You need to give the fans some idea that these guys have a chance. And TNA is just not doing that. You have Tenay and Taz spending 5 minutes going on about how Crimson's undefeated and how great Matt Morgan is. These guys are going to win. Right.
Garb, did you have thoughts on the show?
Yeah, Rob, I completely agree with your highlight. The Zima Ion versus Alex Shelley match. It was an awesome match. It was everything that we should have expected between the two. Shelley didn't really show any type of ring rust, but as I said last week, in our conversation about it, it was obvious that Shelley was going to win. There was no doubt in my mind that he was basically getting the title shot, we're still in that same position where they're not really focusing on building talent up through the X division. They're only focusing on one or two guys outside of the champion at the time, which is a little disturbing considering that should really be the strongest part of the show. That's what we all think the strongest part of the show is.
Yes.
So, but I love the Zima Ion character. I think he's taking that above and beyond anything that I ever expected him to do. Just his interaction with the fans, his interaction with the mic, or with the camera. He's really playing it well.
Yeah, he's really coming up with. The heel gimmick that he's got going is not new, but he's really taking it and making it his own. To the point of, being arrogant enough to pull his opponents up when he's got them beat and say, no, wait, I want to hit you with one more move. Sure. It's Zima Ion is really building himself up, and I see him as potentially a big player in the X division if TNA lets him.
Yeah, the other highlight that I had, not so much the match, but the fact that Tara won the number one contendership for the Knockouts Championship. I'm glad that she's in that title picture. She's definitely deserving of it. Hated the match, hated how they ended it, but overall, the result is what is what has me excited at least.
Yeah, the match. The match had some serious bumps. It could have been done a lot better than it was, but I'm glad to see, as big a Mickie James fan as I am, I'm glad to see that they are giving somebody else a shot other than Mickie James at the Knockouts title. It's about time that they started rotating other people in there.
Sure, and one other thing that I noted was that this is the first time that I can remember being, 3 weeks away from a pay-per-view, that there were promotional pieces for it. There were matches that were building up to it. There were lots of mentions of Against All Odds. So it's almost as if they have turned that corner and have decided, oh yeah, we should probably promote our pay-per-view and build it up throughout,
Yes. Yeah, give it a month.
That's a good start. The next step, obviously, is they need to start advertising outside of their show. Like on billboards in local areas and on other radio and TV channels. But yes, it was very good to see that for the first time, a ways out from the pay-per-view, they're actually starting to say, well, this has implications for Against All Odds. Against All Odds is coming up. It's coming up. It was really nice to see them actually start pushing their pay-per-view.
Okay. Cool. Speaking of pushing talent, Garvin, why don't you run us through NXT and Superstars real quick?
Yeah, well, this is going to actually be really quick. obviously we were building up two major things, SmackDown and Royal Rumble. So lots of video packages, not many matches. NXT only had one highlight for me, and that was the Usos versus Rex and Hawkins. That was the opening contest. It was a really solid match. I like the Rex and Hawkins tag team. I dislike them, as individuals. But as far as how they work together in the ring, I think they're at a good place. They obviously they could step it up a bit. They're not the major heel team in the division, but they're a pretty good team. Usos continue to do very well. But that was really about it for NXT. NXT was pretty boring. I don't really like their internal storylines going on, whether that's Bateman versus Curtis or Percy and Titus O'Neil. It's just not doing it for me. On Superstars, we saw 3 matches. We saw Kofi Kingston and Michael McGillicuddy in the main event. Kofi looked awesome. So really pushed him towards, at least in my mind and the minds of people that watch Superstars, really put him in a good spot as an individual wrestler as we headed into the Royal Rumble. We also saw Beth Phoenix in competition, which we really haven't seen a whole lot as of late, which is good because she's the Divas champion and she probably should be in the ring more. But the opening contest on Superstars, it's not necessarily the match that surprised me or has me interested, because it was Jinder Mahal versus Tyson Kidd. Jinder won. That's really not important because I have no idea what they're doing with Jinder Mahal. He wins on Superstars. He loses on anything that anyone watches. So I don't really get the point of what they're doing. But Tyson Kidd, for as long as I can remember, has been that it has been a heel or a tweener at best. But this week he was pretty much a babyface. He was played up in commentary. He was shaking hands with the fans. Something really, really haven't seen from him. So it's a nice change, and hopefully that means a lot more for him as we continue to move forward. But that's basically it. Besides the Rumble, they were moving on to SmackDown, so we should probably do the same.
Segues. My job. Joe, favorite thing about SmackDown?
The entire show was really that last filler spot to get some of the smaller guys like exposure for the Rumble. So we had like Epico and Primo beating Santino Marella and Yoshitatsu to really shine on Epico and Primo and Santino. Not so much Yoshitatsu because he didn't make it to the Rumble. Sheamus beat Drew McIntyre. Yes, Drew McIntyre has been fired, and he's still wrestling. I don't get it. I really don't understand this storyline that they're doing with him, because they flat out said, you're fired. Well, if you don't win this match, you're fired. He loses. Then he's wrestling the next show. I don't get it.
Well, maybe they'll say it's an undefeated record again.
It's like what Impact was doing for the longest time with ODB and Jacqueline. They kept coming in and getting into backstage brawls and were wrestling matches, but they supposedly, quote unquote, didn't have contracts.
Yeah, I don't. But this one makes less sense to me
than that one,
because they keep firing him. Like, it's like, who's rehiring him? Randy Orton came back, beat on Wade Barrett, or as I was referring to him as, the Don Flamenco of the WWE. Seriously, the way he looks, plus that rose he's got in his jacket, you can't not. Officials couldn't break up their little brawl, and every wrestler that came out ate an RKO. Hunico beat Ted DiBiase to give a little light on both of them. Brodus Clay squished Alex Riley. And here's a match that I don't understand why it happened. Oksana versus Natalya. Oksana finally wrestles, instead of being like eye candy for Teddy Long that nobody cares about.
Yeah, that took me by surprise too. It took me a second to remember who Oksana was.
Yeah,
it was like, Oksana. All right.
Anytime INS comes around, she runs. But the main event, Big Show beat Mark Henry by countout. And then Daniel Bryan attacks Big Show post-match.
Yeah.
Bryan ends up trying to put him in the label lock, but Show gets out and chokeslams him, hits him with the WMD. A decent build for what was to occur at the Royal Rumble.
See, you say that, but there's just two things that were just so weird about the Rumble that happened here, which is Drew McIntyre has a match on the Rumble, or has a match on SmackDown, only to basically get squashed at the Rumble, and then he gets squashed by Brodus Clay. I mean, yeah. I know we're going to talk about it in the Rumble, but given what happened on SmackDown, why was that a match on a pay-per-view?
I don't know. Well, I mean,
just to put Brodus out there, and everyone likes the theme, so that's why.
Yeah, everybody. Somebody better call his mama. Yeah, because that's what it is. I mean, let's just segue right here into the Rumble. We'll start with this match, even though this was not the first match.
It's just Clay versus Drew McIntyre squashed Drew, and you knew what was happening. Like the second Brodus Clay came out, you're like, dude, you lost, and you're not gonna last 2 minutes.
Right. And that's the thing that really bummed me out, was that Brodus wasn't in the Rumble. Because Brodus needs, and I've said it before, I said it on the pre-show for the TWR network. Mm-hmm. You know, it was... Brodus needs this time to prove himself to be more than a joke. And I like the gimmick he's doing, but, like, we need more than a 1-minute match. We need more. We actually need him to do something of more substance to make him a more worthwhile character.
Yeah, because right now he's just a walking jukebox.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's got these 1 or 2 minute matches, the average fan is left with one of two things. Okay, A, there's no real good competition because everybody he's thrown up against is just no good. Or B, he doesn't have the moveset to last longer than 1 or 2 minutes.
Well, it's kind of like me.
Yeah.
Oh.
But really, he's seriously, Brodus Clay, all Brodus Clay is for is he is to get the crowd. It's like when you play Journey in the jukebox at the bar. That's why. You want to get everybody up and singing the lyrics. You know, no one wants to, no one really wants to work for it. Anyway, so prediction time. The winner of the Royal Rumble prediction contest, Rob. Congratulations, buddy. You won.
Oh, I think you forgot.
Shut up, Kevin.
Yeah.
Shut up, Kevin.
Listen,
Shut up. No, Rob won. Rob won. Are you guys going to tell me that Rob did not win? Are you going to sit there right now and say Rob did not win?
Are you going to tell me that Kevin and Garvin didn't win
as well? I don't know
what
you're talking. Rob won. He won. Is that or is that not a fact?
Prevent defense is falling, sir.
It's only falling because
anyone else that also won, Harrison? Anyone?
Yeah, Rob, Kevin, and honest to God, surprisingly enough, Irvin won.
Eat it! I am taking the ass down!
Congratulations, Kevin. You're now tied.
Yeah, it's amazing what I can do when there's only 3 matches on the card.
Yeah, really.
And pretty predictable matches.
Yeah, I was really hoping for the Ziggler upset, and I was so excited. It got me really into the match, but yeah,
I think I definitely had a better shot with the Big Show win than the Ziggler upset.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I had to take one of them, and I wasn't going to take Henry, so I was like, well, I got.
Time to drink my beer to Harrison sucking and playing the prevent defense, and me kicking his ass the next couple of weeks.
Kevin,
to this moment, I will drink my beer for the tie, and soon to be the win. Here, this. Hold on. Let me swallow. Let me drink the beer.
All right, Kev. All you did was make it easier. Because I only got to cover you now. It's hard to it's hard to play downfield coverage when I got 2 receivers I got to watch. Now I just got to watch you.
Bring it on.
All right, so we're not going to talk about the Rumble yet. We're not going to talk about the actual Rumble yet. Just going to go through real quick. Punk Ziggler. I got to be honest.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good. The only problem I think is that I know Laurinaitis had to be there for storyline purposes, but I gotta say he really brought the match down because these two had a great thing going. The ref got knocked out, and usually when the ref gets knocked out, it's like, oh great, something's gonna happen, and then that momentum just boom. Because that just took.
Well, but I mean, it really worked for the effect that that somehow Punk is gonna get screwed over, and it's gonna give something Punk to overcome. It just didn't go right for Punk. Like every time he had that shot, the count wasn't there. And then eventually, the count was there, and Laurinaitis tried to save his job.
Yeah, I get the point. I just think it just seemed to drag. Is all. I mean,
I disagree. I don't think it hurt the match at all. If other people feel that way, if you feel that way, Harrison, okay. But I disagree. I thought it was fantastic back and forth the whole way. Ziggler just showed how on top of his game he is.
Oh, absolutely.
And Punk was fantastic. Those guys worked so well together.
I
didn't feel that way. If other people did, please let me know. But I didn't feel. I thought it added to the match, the controversy with the ref and what Laurinaitis was going to do. I didn't feel that it took anything away.
I think normally how Laurinaitis played it might have dragged the match down, but Punk is such an expert. I mean, by the end of the match, it looked like he was going to shoot somebody. I mean, he played the frustration so well with everything going on. It's like, Jesus, you know, especially when he's yelling at Laurinaitis and the ref like, I beat him 3 times. How many times do I have to beat him? I mean, I think Punk really saved the match with how he played with how things were going on. I see where you're coming from, Harrison, about how Laurinaitis played things, but I think Punk saved it with how he played off of what was going on.
Yeah, that's basically my point. It just seemed like Laurinaitis was the one that really dragged it down. It wasn't so much Punk and Ziggler in the ring, because they were, like Kevin said, phenomenal. But I mean, like, you know, the ref's down, Laurinaitis is standing there like a statue, just staring at him. And it's almost like at one point he does actually look down at his wrist and then back to the ref. And it's just like, if you're going to stall for time, act. I mean, we're not talking, I mean, it's not an episode of House. Just like, shake the guy every couple seconds.
Not lupus.
Yeah, it's not lupus. Just shake him. All right, so Daniel Bryan, Big Show, and Mark Henry. Daniel Bryan retains the world title. Good match. I mean, we had Big Show, Mark Henry, and Daniel Bryan, all 3 ingredients for a good time.
Well, here's the problem with that match, is that Show and Henry both were dealing with some type of injury. But it worked really well as a triple threat cage match with 2 huge dudes and 1 squirrely guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put it best. Cage match, I think, was what really put it over the top. The 2, Show and Henry, both threw their weight around big time in the cage, and I thought that's what really made the match, because Show squashed Henry like 3 times. I'm just like, oh, man. Every time, but he just ran into him. And I personally, I thought that's what really made the match good. And I thought it was good. I was impressed, and I liked the ending. I kind of wish like there would have been a little bit more of a draw out with the whole Bryan's hanging on to Show kind of thing. Maybe Show like pulls him up a little bit and then I can't do it and drops him or something. I don't know. But
yeah, I think
so much. I don't want to take anything away from Show, but I kind of wish I was a little put off by the ending, but I don't want to. That doesn't disappoint me. I thought the match overall was good, and I liked the way they threw their weight around, particularly in a cage match.
The thing I liked about that match is seeing Daniel Bryan drop from the top of the cage to hit the floor. Like, you don't see that. Like, how many times do you see a guy like, I'm going to slowly climb over and climb down while someone's grabbing onto me? At that point, if you want to win the match, just fucking drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when was the first time that you saw a cage match end where someone actually escaped the cage? I mean,
from over the top.
Yeah, I'm going to say it now. I miss the 80s where the only options were to escape the cage.
Me too.
Well, the door thing does cut down on injuries.
No, they had the door and they had over the top. I don't like this pin submission thing.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
If you're going to do something, just lock some guy in a submission for like half an hour. Sure, it'll be boring for the fans, but at least you're wearing down the asshole.
Yeah, break his legs and then climb out of the cage.
Exactly. Skull fuck him for sake.
Oh, jeez. Okay. John Cena versus Kane.
The match that cost me the win.
The match that cost Rob... Well, no, it didn't really... Well, yeah, okay, yeah. It did cost you the win, technically, yes. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I mean, what'd you guys think?
Rushed. Super rushed. It was over... What was that, 15 minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
It should have gone longer. Especially on a pay-per-view that only had 4 matches. Well, 4 scheduled matches.
Right. And, I mean, yeah, because we didn't need to see Brodus again. I understand we needed the Divas title match. Or no, it wasn't even Divas. The Divas tag match, we don't need that. We didn't, if...
Well, it's not
You
like
could have filled that time. Well, no, but I mean, you could have given them what? I mean, what that take up with those two matches together? Take up what 7-8 minutes? You could have added that to Cena Kane to give it more oomph. Instead, we're going to drag it out, which is fine. But are you going to drag it all the way to WrestleMania? Are you going to drag? Oh, I guess you can't because Cena's already involved in a match.
Yeah, the rumor that I've been reading is that the final encounter, that's how it's being billed for Cena and Kane, is at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Winner gets Katie Vick.
Yeah.
Don't you got to think Elimination Chamber is like the build-up pay-per-view for WrestleMania?
Oh yeah, because it's the last pay-per-view right before.
Yeah, but it was definitely rushed. I think they could have done more with it, and it really didn't really answer the needs of the storyline. I don't think.
Well, okay. Do you think? Well, I mean, you can't even say like it was last minute because this match had to have been planned for a while. But yeah, I mean, it did feel. I don't know. Yeah, it just felt like this is the best you guys can do with all the elements put together. I mean, this was Kane's first major pay-per-view appearance since he came back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they're doing a good job for his character that they're drawing it out. You know, there's the torturous aspect of it. There's a brutalness to it. It works.
Yeah, I'm not arguing the fact that they shouldn't extend it longer. I'm just saying that, you know, they should have done more at this specific show.
Yeah.
And they could have still done what they did, you know, the following night on Raw, and, you know, what we can assume is going to happen moving forward.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is it. The Rumble itself. I gotta be honest, I am loving the spontaneous people that are being thrown into this.
Yeah.
I love it. It's now going to be
the best. I have high expectations for the Rumble every year. This is one of the best I can remember in a while.
I sat back and I thought about it, and if I had to describe the Rumble in one word, it was fun.
Exactly.
And this is just it. You hit right on the head, Joe. That's one of the reasons the Rumble, to me, is the best event of the year, is because it's everything that at least I, and I think we all, love about wrestling. There's some spontaneous elements, like wrestlers we haven't seen in a long time, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Awesome. I mean, who didn't mark out?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, my entire living room.
Out so bad when
Karma's return, I fucking jumped up in the living room. I mean, Garvin had to shove me out of the way so we could see what was going on.
Of Karma, Joe, how bad did you mark out when she came out?
Hang on. No, Joe, don't answer that. Let me read you the text message that you sent me when it happened. I think all you said was, "I came" in giant letters.
Yes, that is exactly what I sent. But what gets me is, I mean, like, I marked out. I'm not going to lie. She is one of my favorite wrestlers at all of all time at this point. Like, especially being a woman wrestler. Like, I enjoy watching her wrestle, truly. But the fact that you heard the laugh, and my fiance was out of the room and came running back and practically shoved Kevin out of the way. Because Kevin had gone right up to the TV.
In the middle of the room.
Yeah, and she came and just shoved him just to see what's going on, because she's a big Karma mark. It's a Karma household, I tell you.
I mean, not only that, I mean, there was other elements too. I mean, the announcers all getting involved. I loved it. I thought it was a great touch.
Well,
Foley Santino.
Going to what Joe said about the Royal Rumble being described as fun. You know, you have Karma come out. Cole jumps over the ropes to avoid her, and you have Booker T and Jerry Lawler grab him and pull him off the apron. I mean, it was hilarious.
Yeah,
it was just, you had crazy shit going on. You had
Santino
Marella doing a little puppet battle. I mean, it was great.
I mean, and watching Karma destroy Ziggler for a moment.
It's great. I mean, it's
Road Dogg
that I've come to love about wrestling, and this night really embodied it to me. So this is one of the best Rumbles I can remember in a while, and kudos to the WWE for doing a great job.
There's only one person they could have added to make it better. Dr. Isaac Yankem DDS. It would have been great to see Kane come out that.
I'll tell you who I want to see make an appearance. I mean, they brought, like, Jim Duggan back. They brought Road Dogg back for this one. I'll tell you who I want to see at a Royal Rumble, I want to see the $1 Million Man come out. Just
That'd be awesome.
one more time,
See?
just to hear that
Yeah,
laugh.
$1 Million Man.
That would be pimp, as would the American Dream Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
Even if he comes out, hits a bionic elbow, and someone sends him over the top rope, like right away, it doesn't matter. It's worth it.
Okay, that's a really good question. Question of the week, guys. All of our fans out there, we're going to put it on our Facebook. Who's your dream surprise for next year's Rumble that you want to come out? We got Dusty Rhodes. We got Isaac Yankem for whatever reason. So definitely hit us up on Facebook. Let us know on there, and we'll go through them. I gotta say, out of the Rumble, it was fun, but Hacksaw to me was such a perfect thing. He won the first one, 50th anniversary.
25th.
Oh, I'm sorry, 25th anniversary.
And it's not the 25th anniversary. It's the 24th. Because you don't count your wedding day as the first anniversary, do you? It is the 25th Rumble.
25th anniversary or not, Joe?
Okay, well, whatever.
They call it that, but it's a 25th Rumble.
Yeah, it's the 25th Rumble. All right. Regardless, it was a nice touch, and it was just like one of those things where it was exactly like when we heard DX the first time. You just got to stop and you got to tell these little kids, when we get home, I'm going to hop on YouTube and I want you to watch this guy. And I want you to watch how many people just went crazy when he came out with the 2x4 and the flag, thumb in the air.
Right, but do you know why Hacksaw was so important?
That reaction when he came out. I mean,
He
the
has
crowd
so much
went
charisma.
nuts.
Do you know why Hacksaw, though, was that important for this Rumble? Because he was the first Rumble winner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he comes out and he's going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, it was such a perfect touch, and it's so rare when that happens in this industry for wrestlers and fans. And I think the Rumble is that one place where we take all the politics, all the storylines aside, and then we come together as wrestlers and fans, and we go, you know what? Let's just take 40 minutes out of the year and just go shit crazy.
Yeah, I mean, look at what we got. The WWE found a way to give Mick Foley his one more match. They're like, okay, we'll throw you in the Rumble for a little bit, and we'll let you be in the Rumble for a few minutes. I mean, and you just get to relax and have fun and just watch the Road Dogg come out and
have the crowd chant, "You still got it."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a nice moment. All right, so finish of the Rumble. I mean, we got to give props to Mike. Mike C. He writes for PW Torch. He's the only one that really predicted Sheamus to win. I mean, he kind of hedged his bet with Barrett, but Sheamus won and beat Jericho. And so I got to be honest. When I sat there and I watched this, and I watched Jericho go over the top rope, and he was out, I just thought to myself, so
I thought they
the
fucked
world
up.
ended not with a whimper, but with a collective, what?
Yeah. I tend to agree. I'm not disappointed in the ending, but I don't know. It just seemed to me to make too much cosmic sense to have Jericho win it. I don't know. Sheamus, I think he's going to have a great match with whoever he puts on, but it's
Sheamus,
fine. I'm not disappointed in any way.
Sheamus will do well, but the thing is that everybody wanted the next step after all those awesome vignettes they did for Jericho's return.
Yeah.
That's why people felt let down.
The question I have is, do you think that Jericho is just making this stuff up, and WWE's like, I don't know why you keep telling people this. We don't know what the hell he's like, I got it. Don't worry. Trust me. And they're like, we're just going to write that you lose anyway. I mean, it's like he's doing this thing and nobody else knows what's going on.
Well, what I liked about it, you've got a point there, Harrison. It definitely seems like, Jericho's got his own script, and then the WWE has their own script. But at the same point in time, what I like about it is one of the things that ticks me off as a wrestling fan is when wrestling matches become too predictable. When I'm looking at the finish of the Royal Rumble and I see Jericho and Sheamus, I'm like, okay, well, I know I was right. For the first time ever, I picked the Royal Rumble winner because obviously Jericho's going to beat Sheamus. And then Sheamus wins. It was like, nice, Admittedly, I'm a Sheamus fan anyways, but it was nice to be led in one direction and then just have the WWE say, yeah, you think we're going here, but here's where we're going.
Yeah, it was a neat swerve. And a couple of our fans said that as well. Steven Espinoza on our Facebook page, friend of the show, said, brought up a really good point. Everyone complains about WWE being predictable before the show. So when Sheamus comes out of nowhere to win the Rumble instead of the predictable Jericho, the entire IWC gets butthurt. He's got a point, but at the same time, it's like, it wasn't, for me, it wasn't that Jericho should have won. It's like, given all the vignettes, all the build-up, all the stuff, the logical conclusion is that something big is going to happen, and win or lose, that didn't happen.
No, but you can't look at it that way. I mean, the thing is that since Jericho has come back, we have all basically said how confused we are of where they're going with this. Nothing has made sense yet. So why would a win make sense here? Maybe a loss makes more sense to where he's going. We're only going by feeling.
Maybe in the long run, but heel, a loss actually makes more sense.
But it's not the win or loss. It's the fact that the Royal Rumble, he predicted the world was going to come to an end. The Royal Rumble ended. Nothing of significance in Jericho's storyline happened. Win or lose, regardless what happened, nothing happened. He lost. He walked away.
Didn't he say, though, it was the beginning of the end of the world?
Just pay it off. End of story.
Yeah.
It's something like this. Nobody's going to complain. Just pay it off. And I'm not saying that I don't have a problem with Sheamus winning, but this is the stars aligning. I don't know. I just say pay it off. Let everybody be happy and know that we're going into WrestleMania with another epic match. I still don't have a problem with Sheamus winning, but that's the bottom line.
But the thing is Jericho didn't need this win to do what he did.
No, but that's not what
He needed something.
I'm talking about Jericho. I'm talking about the fans and what we would have liked to see.
Well,
it didn't matter. It didn't have to be a win. It just had to be something, just so we know that another page is being turned in this story. Right now, it's like, it's whatever. It's the end. It's the beginning of the end. Regardless, it was like, it happened, and then we're all just sitting there going,
well,
okay, now what?
Given Jericho's relative opinion of himself, which there's a lot of...
He's got a giant ego.
Yes, and with good reason. I mean, the man beat Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night. He's got a reason to have an ego. So when he makes a claim like the world's going to end at Royal Rumble or whatever, and then he loses to Sheamus, to me that makes a lot of sense, because if you ask Jericho beforehand, there's no way Jericho would say, well, Sheamus might beat me. Jericho would be like, Sheamus doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of beating me. If it ends up just the two of us, I could toss him over the ropes at will.
Well, hopefully not at will. I like Will. Yeah. No, it's just we're going to move on because we'll spend the rest of the show on this. But, it's just, I guess we're just going to have to see what happens next. That's progress, right? That's telling a story.
Right.
I don't know. Kevin, run us through Raw. What was your what was your favorite thing about Raw? Yeah. Kevin's favorite thing about Raw was Undertaker and Triple H.
I think that was pretty much everybody's favorite thing about Raw. Taker returns. I don't think anybody saw this coming. Pretty freaking awesome. Wow. He didn't even do a whole lot besides the throat slash. Triple H walks away.
Pats him on the shoulder. Nice try, buddy.
Still pretty good. I liked it that Triple H just walked away almost saying, look, I'm done. I'm an executive kind of thing. Look, we know where this is going. And I still like the build-up. I don't care. But I like Triple H's end of the build-up. I thought it was good. And I think this is a good way for WWE to be going with this. Another thing, above all else, Raw, mainly matches this week. All of them were decent, particularly coming off a major pay-per-view. Guys, need to take a rest, but a lot of matches. I was impressed in that. Obviously, the ending pays it off. Good stuff. All in all, good Raw. Thumbs up.
See, I disagree with you on the end, Kevin. and here's why. I mean, I'm not as much of a Triple H fan as you are. I think you're probably the number one Triple H fan in the world. I'll go out on a limb and I'll make that claim.
Yeah, it's a good one to make.
But to me, when I saw that, yes, it was awesome. Yes, it was epic. But at the same point in time, to me, it also sends a message that we're probably going to see Triple H versus Undertaker at WrestleMania, and I don't really want to see that match again.
Well,
I'm right there with you, Rob. I mean, I like the fact that Triple H turned him down. That maybe they're trying to tease it, but they're not going to do it. But come on, they're going to do it. And here's my big bitch.
That was my.
I don't want to see it a third time.
That was my illusion of the "I know where this is going" part, because I agree with you guys. But no, I mean, I do I think they're going to do Triple H Taker 3? Yes. Do I think that Triple H should actually stick to the front office and not do the match? Damn yes. I think it would be better. I mean, for 20-0, I understand Triple H is a big character, but if anything, if you're going to have Triple H involved, I mean, if that's one of the paths they're planning on taking here, make it like a triple threat match and put get Kane involved. No, absolutely not. You cannot make 20-0 a triple threat match. No way. No,
I just don't want to see. I don't want to see Triple H by himself in that ring.
Fine, but not a triple threat match. No.
How about a gauntlet match?
Yes. Thank you.
What about a triple threat match elimination? Would you shut the fuck up? Hold on. Let me make one statement, and then I'll let you go for an hour.
Okay, Joe.
If we're gonna do it a triple threat match, make an elimination match and have somebody go out quickly.
Then what's the point?
Because then it's still not. Then Taker's overcoming.
What do you think?
Taker still overcomes two people at that point.
Okay.
For the big 20-0.
Okay. Kevin, your response?
I can't. No, absolutely not. No triple threat. No nothing. 1-on-1. 20th match. No. Make it legit. Make him win legit. Carry him out on the stretcher again. I don't care. No. 20-0 needs to be sacred.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're still behind Triple H on that one?
I don't care who. I didn't say who.
I'm just asking.
The biggest Triple H mark in the world. So yes, for me. But no triple threat. Absolutely not.
Okay, let me...
No gimmick. Sorry, Rob. No gimmick regardless. I don't want to see triple threat. I don't want to see Cage. I don't want to see Inferno. I don't want to see any of that shit.
Fair enough.
One, end of WrestleMania. That's it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would rather see a 1-on-1, but I don't want to see Triple H. That's my caveat there. Rob, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me tell you how I would sell it. Because I understand where you're coming from, Kevin, but I think you could sell... You say you want to keep 20-0 sacred. Well, what better way to do so than to make it a gauntlet match and have somebody come out and say, okay, no one person has beaten The Undertaker at WrestleMania, so we're going to have these 3 or 4 guys try to beat him. There are things you could do. You could make it an interesting match.
Rob, I'm sorry. Joe, I understand where you guys are coming from, but I gotta go with Kevin. When I see Taker at 20-0, I'm with Kevin, man. It's showdown at the OK Corral. It is 2 guys, opposite ends, quick draw.
Right, no, but I'm my only reason
for... the OK Corral was a group of guys.
Whatever. It's Wild Bill Hickok, across the thing. Rob, shut up.
Right.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No, my whole reason for suggesting a triple threat is because I don't want to see Triple H 1-on-1 with Taker again.
Yes, I don't want to see
that's
Triple
H.
That's
I do, because I'm a Triple H mark. You guys want Kane? You guys want... Okay, if Shawn Michaels was there, fine. I don't have a problem with that. The triple threat match is where I have a problem.
Right. Taker Santino 2012. That's where
that's
I'm
fine.
No. No, I agree that 20-0 should be epic. And you know what? I mean, I know Taker's gone on record and said he wants Kane to beat him. Gone on record, not in character.
Yeah.
He would like to see Glenn Jacobs be the guy who topples him. I don't want to see that, but I want to see Taker Kane for Taker's last Mania match.
So
because storyline wise, it to me that it would be a fitting end.
Yeah.
Even if Taker wins, which I want him to never lose during the streak. I don't want to see a loss at the end. I don't want to see 20-1 or 19-1.
All right. Enough of this. Let's talk about what's important that happened on Raw, and that is Daniel Bryan facing CM Punk in a fantastic match.
Yes.
That was by far the best match of 2012 so far. I mean, which isn't a lot, but still.
Ziggler and Punk, I thought was better.
No. Hands down, this had the best ring psychology of any match.
Yes.
And really, what we saw was the
beard
best wrestling, the best wrestler in the world versus the quote unquote former best wrestler in the world. If you're an ROH fan and remember Daniel Bryan in ROH, that used to be his catchphrase. But yeah, it was a fantastic match, and we saw what Jericho was doing next, which was attacking CM Punk. He took him out. We saw the next step. We saw where he was going, and that is to take out CM Punk. Now, if maybe that's all he's doing. Maybe this is just building up to CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, but we don't know. But this is at least some type of action that we can look at, saying, okay, this is a milestone in whatever we're watching.
No, that's a really good point. And really, when you saw Daniel Bryan take on CM Punk, you saw this is a WrestleMania main event in 3 years. Is what you saw. I mean, this is going to be the match that brings the house down. Although I got to be honest, after that during that match, I was like, I want these two at WrestleMania now, and I want Chris Jericho doing something else. I mean, I know everyone's marking out about Jericho versus CM Punk and how amazing that would be. I'm like, no, I want to see Daniel Bryan and CM Punk with proper build-up after having rested the night before. These two had title matches the night before, and they still brought their A game and then some on Raw. So I want to see that at WrestleMania. I don't want to see Jericho and Punk anymore. I don't care.
We can talk about WrestleMania later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about WrestleMania later, but after that match, yeah, Garvin, you're right. It was match of the year, 2012. Call it now. There's nothing to beat it.
There's you can do that and then put Jericho Taker. There you go.
Yeah, that'll work. All right, anyway. Main event of the night, Road to WrestleMania. How do you think the card's shaping up so far? Basically, we got, this is what we have so far. It's going to be The Rock and John Cena, and then Sheamus versus either whoever the WWE champion is or the world champion is. Those are the only really confirmed matches. The rumored ones, Triple H versus Undertaker, CM Punk versus Jericho, Beth Phoenix versus Karma, maybe a Money in the Bank ladder match, depending on how that plays out. My point of view. I don't want to see Punk and Jericho. I want to see I want to see Punk and Bryan, and then Jericho versus Taker for 20-0. But that's just what do you guys think? Think it's shaping up to be an awesome WrestleMania?
Can I throw one more match in here?
Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin. Garb, what do you else do you want to throw in there?
I want to throw another rumored match, and Sheamus kind of throws a stick into the wheel as far as what people were talking about prior to the Royal Rumble, but the thought, like the theory was, as far as Jericho returning to end the world, this is the end of the world as you know it.
Mm-hmm.
There was talk about him possibly reunifying the titles. So a match that could still be in talks is a Four Corners match. Sheamus versus CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan versus Chris Jericho to unify the titles. What do you guys think about that?
That would be epic.
God. That will be the match. Book that match. That will be the match of the year 2012.
Yeah, I mean, that would just be awesome.
Plus, it would resolve your problem, Joe, where you don't like to see, more than 3 main events at WrestleMania.
Yeah, we just cut down to 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's my complaint, and I've said it to Garvin, I've said it to Harrison,
well, now we got 2.
I think I said it to Kevin.
You've said it to anybody who will listen, Joe.
Rock Cena is your 1. Your Taker Triple H is another, and then you had your 2 titles.
Yeah.
Your 2 main titles. So that would take care of it, because really, you can't... There's too many things that they're going to try and bill as a main event. In a show that every match should be main event quality, you have to have only a very limited amount of standouts, and, Anyway, regardless, Rock vs. John Cena should be good, hopefully. As long as The Rock is back ring ready. I mean, we've seen snippets of it. But throwing the rock bottom or doing the people's elbow is a lot different than doing an actual match. So I'm looking forward to seeing The Rock and seeing how well he gets back into it. Beth Phoenix versus Karma, epic. And I like the idea that WWE goes to a Money in the Bank
ladder
match one time, 1 year, one in the year. No more of this Raw Money in the Bank, SmackDown Money in the Bank. I love the Money in the Bank. No, don't get me wrong. I love Money in the Bank as a match. I like the multiple people in a ladder match fighting for something.
Right.
But I like the spontaneity that the person with the case can do either show, so nobody's safe.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. The reason for having the two cases is because you had two world titles. You unify those that night. Having the one Money in the Bank solves that problem.
I know, but what I'm saying is have two world titles. Have two top tier titles,
and just have
one Money in the Bank
for either title.
Having too many Money in the Banks out there that kind of demeans the prize of Money in the Bank.
Right. You're right on, Rob.
Okay.
Have them scramble for it, have it take it, and then one guy's got the briefcase, and now two champions are scared shitless because they don't know who he's gonna cash it in on. Okay.
Kev, what do you think? Before we cut you off entirely and went on our own 3-minute conversation.
This great card, particularly after what I thought was a lackluster WrestleMania last year. I'm liking the way it's shaping up. Obviously, we need the payoff, but so far, thumbs up. Keep it going.
Okay. Man, the unification, the title idea that Garvin has is pretty solid, at least to me. I mean, I really like that idea as far as that goes. All right, so it'll be interesting to see what happens after Elimination Chamber, because that's the one where stuff starts to crystallize as far as what's going to happen at WrestleMania. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Now that we know Sheamus is going to be there, deservedly. I know a lot of us, the conversation's basically been around, Chris Jericho, he should have won. Sheamus does deserve it. And it is kind of, I don't want to say sad, but it is kind of like, well, his win is kind of tarnished because of what we were expecting. I just want to go on record saying Sheamus does deserve it. The guy is bank, hands down.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I just want to go on record saying that. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to play a voicemail from a friend of the show, Will. Wanted to respond to us last week. Garvin and I were talking about the conversation that was happening on TWR about Brodus Clay's character being racist. And we didn't go on record giving an opinion either way. Our opinion was by taking that word and pointing it at something doesn't really invite discussion. It tends to destroy it, because if you come out and say, well, I don't think it's racist, you can be branded as a racist. It turns ad hominem very quickly. So anyway, we got a voicemail from Will about this, so we're going to play it real quick. And then I'm pretty sure Garv and I are kind of respond to it. Since we're on this discussion, we can open it up a little bit, see what everybody says. All right, Garv, go ahead and play that.
Yo, this is Will from Virginia. 3 things. Number 1, what is that song that you guys used to have to go into the talking part? It was some kind of rock symphony. Number 2, Jericho should go after Undertaker. Yeah, him versus Punk is money, but it is to the IWC. And number 3, what is that black thing, or that black wrestlers in wrestling thing that you went to? As a black man, I am curious about it. And Vince is a fucking racist. But let me elaborate on that Vince is a racist thing. I don't mean that he is an actual racist. I mean that he comes from an industry that has catered to an audience that historically was a bit conservative and closed-minded. And try as he does to escape from that, there are still some bindings of that left in his product. Apologies, and a question. How's it going? Yeah, I didn't even ask one earlier. Have a nice day. Deuces.
I love that part. I love he puts the how's it going at the end. Hey, Will, Do me a favor, email us and we'll send you the song. It was under Creative Commons for a while, and then it wasn't anymore, and I'm not sure if I can actually read it off over the air. So just email us and we'll send you a link to who it is. The album it's on is fantastic. I mean, I have it personally; it's great. So just go ahead and email us questions at theftwpodcast.com, or basically just reply to us like you did before. So basically, I mean, he brings up an excellent point. This is actually something we had discussed, I want to say months ago, didn't we? Where we talked about racism inherent in wrestling at the higher echelons, because you don't really see a lot of very standout black athletes and even, well, not even black, but like minority. I mean, you do not see, with the exception of like Booker T, Rey Mysterio.
Oh, you mean in wrestling? I thought you were saying, the way you said that, it sounded like you said, well, I thought you just said on... I'm sorry, but like, I zoned out and I thought you were saying there weren't that many black athletes.
No, see, that's the thing.
What? Wait?
No, this is a really good point. See, he brings up a really good point. This is something Garvin and I were talking about earlier. Comparing wrestling to a sport, it's not a fair comparison, because with wrestling, there's a lot more politics going behind the scenes. It's not just based entirely on merit. Whereas if you can run the 40 in 4 seconds, you're going to be an excellent receiver. Doesn't matter what color your skin is or where your family comes from. You know, you're going to get signed. So in wrestling, it's a lot more like Hollywood in that there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes. Yeah, there's talent, and yeah, you can rise to the top. But really, with the exception of Jackie Chan and The Rock, can you name me a minority star that can have mainstream appeal in a summer blockbuster movie?
Jet Li.
Okay, there's 3.
Will Smith.
4. I guarantee you, Rock,
Jada
you're not going to
Pinkett
get more
Smith.
than 10. Now name me white people. See, that's the problem. It's there's so much politics behind the scenes, and everybody's like, well, you got to cater to the certain audience. A certain audience is not ready to see Cuba Gooding Jr. Be an amazing actor on screen or whatever, or they're not really
because he's not a good actor. What?
He's all right.
He's okay.
The point is that comparing wrestling to a sport doesn't really work. You have to compare it more towards Hollywood, and when you look at it, Will does have a point. Wrestling, by and large, it caters to a certain crowd that is much more southern and conservative, and I don't want to say racist, but it's hard to get away from that. You know, I mean, yeah, it's not 1955 in Alabama anymore, but at the same time, that wasn't that long ago. It was only a little over 50 years ago when we had Jim Crow laws. So it's a long way to go, and we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, I think one of the main issues that I have with this topic, obviously, it would be ignorant for us to say there's no racism in wrestling, because we don't know. We're not, we're fans just like our listeners,
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely a difference between racism and playing up a stereotype. There's 2 ways to handle a stereotype, or there's 2 ways to take a stereotype. Either it's really funny, or it's really offensive. So you're either reacting in a good way, or you're reacting in a bad way. But either way, you as the wrestling fan are reacting in the way that the WWE or whoever wants you to react. So with this, at the same time, and I don't know how to say this politically correct, so apologies first and foremost.
Oh, here we go. Here come the emails.
Oh boy!
But just like you said, Harrison, it's hard to think of a Hollywood actor that can cross lines like that. Besides like a Ron Simmons, can you guys think of someone in the last 10, 15 years that was really good enough, who was black or any race really, other than stereotypical white, Caucasian,
even foreign?
Yeah, I mean, can you name a single guy who wasn't white that could be pushed to that level?
That, you see, that's the problem.
And that's the thing. I mean, like you have The Rock.
Wait.
You have The Rock.
The Rock?
But The Rock is not seen as, I don't know. For some reason, he doesn't really fall into this conversation ever.
Mike Tyson?
Well, Mike Tyson was in an actual sport.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Garvin's got a point. The system, because it's so political back behind the scenes, where we don't see, behind the cameras and the curtain and the lights and everything, it's so political back there. Changing the momentum of that and allowing pure talent to rise is difficult enough. Allowing pure talent to rise to go against the social mores behind there is even harder.
Yeah, and I think
maybe.
the only guy
that plays into like injuries and worries about concerns about just general, I mean.
Well, no, that affects everybody though.
What about Eddie Guerrero?
Well, Eddie Guerrero had the same thing. As big a name as he was, the Guerrero family as a whole are like Mexico's version of the Hart family. I mean, these guys are legends, but when you see the Guerreros up in the WWE, they have to play into the Mexican stereotype. They
do that.
They drive in the car. They say "essay" every other word. I think Harrison's dead on. Wrestling is very much like Hollywood, where talent is one part of the picture, but to excel in wrestling is as much who you know as how good you are. If you know the right people, you've got a better chance than somebody who comes in and doesn't have those connections.
And I want to make one contradiction to what I said before, and that is there was one guy who I think could make it and did make it, and that was Booker T. He had enough talent to hold gold, win both sides of the audience, whether he was a heel or he was a face. But the problem is that doesn't necessarily deter this conversation. Instead, everyone looks at Booker T because of how he talks as stereotypical, therefore it's racist. Just because of the character he plays, regardless of what he has accomplished.
Well, yeah, I mean that is a problem, but at the same time,
I think it's partly his problem. It's partly his problem when he's flat out saying things like, "Karma's going to eat him like a chicken wing."
That was a little more, but I mean, that's the thing. It's so multifaceted. It's very hard. There's so many. Think about it, guys. This entire time we've been talking about it, all we've done is brought up interesting little things, interesting little gears in the machine that have to turn a certain way in order for it to work. And when you want to change the way the machine works, you have to change each one of those little fucking gears, and it takes forever. I mean, look at it this way. Prince of Persia is about a Middle Eastern hero. In the movie, it's played by a white guy, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
That's a problem, and it's not fair, and it really isn't, and it's just the way things work right now, and it is changing. It is changing, and it's always going to change for the better. But it's going to take time, and to basically sit there, and Will, thank you so much for this discussion, because I'm glad we're having it because of you. Basically to sit back and point and say, that's racist, doesn't really allow this discussion to happen, because this discussion needs to happen in order for things to change. Or,
following what you said about Middle Eastern, like Prince of Persia, in the movie 300, Xerxes, the king of Persia, is played by a Brazilian guy, and people are like, well, they look about the same. No, they don't. There's a marked difference between a Brazilian person and a Middle Eastern person.
The women are still hot. I'm counting it. Anybody can disagree with me on that?
No.
Thank you. Let's move on to quick hits. Now that we've dragged the show down into political quagmire, let's lift it back up by talking about quick hits. For those of you guys new to the show, each one of us is going to get 30 seconds to send up on a news topic. If you want to go over, if we have time, we'll scream at each other for a little bit. Excuse me. Professional Canadian Bret Hart was pleased with the champion versus champion match on Raw. Surprise. Kudos to CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, basically saying it's a good match. Do you think this match was better than either of theirs the night before at the Rumble? Joe?
I think it was better than Daniel Bryan's match. CM Punk's, they're really close. CM Punk Ziggler was a phenomenal match, as was CM Punk Daniel Bryan.
Okay. Rob?
I'm going to say they were, just because, CM Punk versus Ziggler was when they were completely fresh. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk was the next night after they had almost no rest, and they're still kind of beat up.
Okay. Kevin, go.
Bryan's match, yes, but not anything to do with Bryan. They did what they could with that match, which was throw the weight around, which is exactly what they should have done in the cage match with two big guys. Punk and Ziggler, no. Punk and Ziggler was phenomenal. I don't think it was better than this match. This is not a criticism on that match, which was excellent. Punk and Ziggler absolutely brought it. That, to me, was the better match.
Okay. Disagree. I think CM Punk and Daniel Bryan on Raw was much better than either of their matches the night before, and I think it's even handicapping it by the fact that they both had title matches on Rumble, and then they come back the next day and bring the house down. Taking that out of there, it was still a better match. Rumors are that professional Texan Steve Austin. I'm going to do this from now on. It's hilarious.
Professional Texan.
He's awesome. A professional Texan. Steve Austin will induct. He drinks and he rides a 4-wheeler. He's a professional Texan. Will induct Mike Tyson to the Hall of Fame. My brother-in-law's a Texan, and really, that's what they do. Basically, Stone Cold's going to induct Tyson to the Hall of Fame. Appropriate? Joe.
Sure. What the hell? There's not much to it. Come on.
Yeah, that's fair. Kevin.
No, I don't want to see Tyson in the Hall of Fame. I didn't want to see Drew Carey. I don't want to see Pete Rose either.
The fact that they have a Celebrity Hall of Fame.
Sacred. No, I don't want to see this.
Okay. Rob.
Well, I guess Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of the closest things pro wrestling has to Mike Tyson, so I guess it makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I'd rather not see Tyson in there, but any excuse to have Steve Austin up on a stage holding the mic is just going to be ingredients for a good time to me. All right, so next thing we got is from a voicemail from a friend of the show, Steve Credo. Garvin, take it away.
Hey guys, it's Credo from Marked Up. I got a question. Well, it's dealing with The Undertaker and Kane. What's with the hair? Did these guys think that maybe they were going to be away for a longer time than than they were? I mean, shave your head and then come back. Like, it's obvious that they have wigs on. I mean, it's blatantly obvious that you can see that it's not their hair. That's my only little tidbit for your show is, what do you guys think about them shaving their heads? Do you think that they were, well, Kane obviously didn't have hair to begin with, but The Undertaker shaving his head and then coming back. Do you think it's going to look bad maybe come match time, or what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that maybe he planned on being away a lot longer than what he thought he was going to be? Or, I don't know. Maybe you guys can talk about it. There you go. Talk to you soon.
There you have it. Taker versus Kane. Is the hair stupid, and did they come back earlier than they should have? Joe, what do you think?
I think on the hair thing, I think the Kane thing works because God knows how long Kane didn't have hair while wearing the mask previously, before they, revealed him and had that stupid paint job and hair hack on his head. But Taker, I think it'll be a good shock, especially if he's not in the ring until, let's say, Elimination Chamber. He doesn't take off the hat and the wig until then, and then it's just like, holy shit! So, I don't care. They can be bald, whatever. Bald is beautiful, damn it.
Kevin.
I don't think they came back too early, and I don't have a problem with the hair. I see where you're coming from because I've commented on it before, that I thought that you maybe used some Miracle-Gro hair gel or whatever. I just think it's part of the gimmick change. I don't have a problem with it, and I think it's fine. Particularly for Kane was the one that I, was a little miffed on more than anything. But I'm fine with it, and I think could Kane have stayed off maybe a little bit longer? Maybe, but I like what they're doing with him. I'm a big Kane mark, so I think what they've done is fine, and I'm good with him and the hair coming back.
Okay, Rob.
I believe that Undertaker lost a bet and is now just basically forced to try to imitate Donald Trump and Vince McMahon.
This is why we have you on the show, Rob.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, damn it.
All right, guys, no one said it. I'm going to say it. Matching skull tattoos.
That's another possibility.
They get a Paul Bearer tattooed on the base of their spine?
No, on the back of their heads, so that way, if you're behind them, it looks like
base of their
twin Paul Bearers are staring at you.
No.
They can shake their head. Yeah. Did they come back earlier than they expected? Kane, no, I love Kane. The thing is about Taker, if you're only going to do one match a year, dude, I'd rather you just retire, just because, I don't know. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, I still mark out every time the music hits, but, it's like, Yeah. Well, Christmas only comes once a year, and so does my birthday, so I always look forward to those. So maybe, maybe Taker's going to be the new yearly thing.
Yeah,
All right.
and Harrison, just one point.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys noticed this on Raw, but, Kane almost lost his hair. When he was running away, you could see like a nice bald spot at the top, and he was holding his head on as he was running out of the arena.
I did notice that, yes.
I have a hard time getting over that, especially looking at what type of matches Undertaker normally has. I mean, if he flies out of the ring like he normally does, is he going to lose his hair in mid-flight? I mean,
yes,
it's going to be really difficult for them to get past that.
Undertaker will land at point A. His hair will land at point B.
That would be so awesome. He gets caught in the ropes, and he's like, "Where'd my hair go?" And then, I mean, how do you? If you're the guy, if you're Triple H facing that, how do you not just fall over laughing your ass off? I mean, I know you're not supposed to break character, but come on. As always, you can also call us anytime you want at 313-444-FTW4. That's 313-444-3894. You can email us MP3 and OGG files. If you have Audacity, it's a little bit lighter weight and it's a lot easier for us to handle. To voices@ftwpodcast.com. Man, we are just lousy with emails. First thing on the docket, out on Twitter, we were asking people what their thoughts about Mike Tyson Hall of Fame. At IFO Wrestling said, considering it's completely fake, arbitrary Hall of Fame, sure, what the hell? LI Podcast said he makes more sense than Drew Carey. No offense. I take offense
Thanks,
to that.
Scott.
Shut up. As a Clevelander, I take offense to that. You, sir, have offended me.
Way to go, Scott. Keep it up.
Shut up. The Kilo_G said he was an integral part of the match that started the Attitude Era. Hard to argue against it. I don't know if that really was really. Could you consider that the start of the?
Yeah, I think Attitude Era started before that, personally.
Yeah, I mean, it threw gasoline on the fire, but I don't want to say start. But it was an important match. It was one of Shawn Michaels' best. I mean, that's like throwing darts at a balloon factory. You're bound to pop something. And we want to thank Anne-Marie, the incomparable Diva Jill, for helping us out on that and retweeting stuff and being our associate to the show. TNA star James Storm wrote on Twitter that he suffered a dislocated elbow. Ouch. While on the Maximum Impact tour overseas, Storm added that he wouldn't miss any ring time. Doc says the elbow should be fine. Dislocated it in the match with Bully Ray and popped partially back in the same match.
Yeah.
That is epic.
And how was your day at work?
Dislocate the elbow, get it back in the same match, and keep fighting. That is awesome. James Storm, you're gonna get
slow clap, guys. Slow clap that.
Oh, I thought you were baiting.
No, slow clap. Baiting, jerk.
Go away, baiting.
Yeah. TNA Knockout Winter and Kip James will be filming a movie this spring called Double Fury. The movie is about two estranged brothers who are reunited after their father is murdered. I am really looking forward to that.
Is Winter playing one of the brothers?
Yeah, that's implied, but I don't think
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, people know Winter is a woman, right?
Well,
I mean, are you sure they didn't get Winter and China confused?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that was in the press release. And yeah, it is. I don't want to say implied, but it is inferred that Winter is the other brother. Kia Stevens, also known as Karma or Awesome Kong to those of you non-wrestling hipsters, did in fact give birth to her son on December 31st. Hey, New Year's baby. A New Year's Eve baby? Well, yep. Welcome, Jamie. Don't piss Mom off or she'll eat you like a chicken wing. Thanks, Booker T. Joe, I can't believe you made me read that.
I can't believe you read it.
Well, I'm just on autopilot right now. And we posted Ring of Kings' first episode on Facebook, on our Facebook page. You should definitely check it out. Look, it's really, really awesome. Really, really awesome to watch a roided up, basically wrestling retiree chase India around.
Yeah. Just to jump in here on the Kia Stevens thing, you think my comment was that I put into our little text document that you read was bad, but did you read the one that TMZ put up there?
No, I don't read TMZ.
Yeah, because that's where this broke, was TMZ of all places. Right. Yeah, I dropped some weight, a baby, out of my uterus.
Wait, did she say that, or did they say that?
Now I got to go look for it. Hold on. But
okay.
Supposedly it was her. From what I understood, it was her statement. I dropped a few pounds out of my uterus.
Okay,
what the title
that's
says.
kind of witty. I mean, that's not saying I dropped a baby out of my uterus.
But still.
What?
It's still not that cool.
I've seen a birth announcement for a boy that was simply, "It's got a dick."
That
was a birth
as soon as I start having kids, you better watch out for that one coming out.
Go ahead, kids.
Not that I know of, anyway.
Alright, time for Win Fail. As always, win and fail. Joe, your win of the week. Go, Joe.
My win of the week is a return of Karma. I marked out badly, and it was awesome to see her just flip Hunico, flip him almost through the announce table, and just totally destroy Ziggler. Okay. Awesome to see. I can't wait to see her fight more dudes.
Rob, your win of the week.
My win of the week is going to go to James Storm. I mean, dislocating your elbow in a match, popping it back in the match, and continuing to fight. That's hardcore. Yeah,
especially with Bully Ray. What do you think Bully Ray did? Because you had to have felt it, right? That kind of pop, and then it's just like, it pops back in. I mean, that...
he felt both of them. I've dislocated my shoulder. I'm going to assume the elbow's a little bit similar to that. You're going to feel it when it comes out.
No, I mean, like Bully Ray, if he felt it. I mean, I can't imagine be like squishing a spider. It's like, it's like,
yeah. Bully Ray. I don't
nails
know.
On a chalkboard. Oh, anyway, Kevin, your win of the week.
My win of the week is the Rumble in general. I have high expectations for the Rumble match itself, and far exceeded them, I think, this year. I mean, Duggan was awesome. Karma was awesome. And look, we didn't even talk about this, so let me mention it. Kofi walking on his hands.
Yes!
God, yes.
Didn't even mention that. And freaking awesome. It was great. Great Rumble. Can't wait till next year. 363 days, whatever it is. So.
No, next year's a leap year, isn't it? So 364. Or this year's a leap year.
It's like Kofi
this year's
said.
A leap.
This
364, you're right.
Yeah.
It's like Kofi said, yeah, I'll take Morrison's jumping on the wall, and I'll raise you walking on my hands.
Yeah.
On a live show.
It's great. It was great.
Garvin, your win of the week.
Yeah, my only fear with that situation is that was 10 times more amazing than what Morrison did the year before. Mm-hmm. But Morrison was also thrown into the Elimination Chamber match and sucked. So I'm hoping that Kofi Kingston can continue this momentum that he has created for himself and not fail.
The catch with Kofi there is that he's already been destroyed in the Elimination Chamber match. Didn't he get totally blown out and then somebody took his spot last year?
I thought that was 2 or 3 years ago because that was Edge. Edge that took him out.
Yeah, forever ago.
But he's had his Elimination Chamber botch.
So he popped that cherry, so he's fine.
Yeah. He's good. Now he's going to be a pro. He's going to feel really good now.
My win goes to Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. Their match on Raw was fantastic. The ending. There was no clear ending, which is great because you don't really want to put one champion over the other. And they did a great job. The fans were involved. It was exactly the match that you would expect from two champions.
Okay. My win of the week is Hacksaw in the Rumble. It's one of those moments when you can watch somebody who, basically an organization that creates for a living, just kind of sit back and have fun. And it's really nice to see that. And if you want to commemorate that, you can head over to ftwpodcast.spreadshirt.com and check out our I'm with Duggan t-shirt. Reduced price until WrestleMania. You should definitely check it out in both men's and women's sizes in any color you want because freedom. Oh. Is it sad the instant Duggan came out after I was done jumping up and down in front of my couch, I immediately wrote that down saying, I'm going to plug this on the show and sell t-shirts.
What you should have done is post it to our Facebook group.
Not sad.
I did. The
Sweetness.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. So, fails of the week. Joe, your fail of the week.
My fail of the week is Taker Triple H if they decide to go with it again. I don't want to see HBK Taker. I get you did it 2 years in a row. It was special. don't do it again. Don't do the same opponent 2 years in a row again. It lessens the HBK impact and the retirement angle. Done.
Excellently put, or well put. Rob, your fail of the week.
My fail of the week is going to go to kind of along what you said, Harrison. The CM Punk Ziggler match. Laurinaitis just standing around there way too long, debating what he's going to do. If it was not for Michael Cole saving Laurinaitis' ass, that really would have sucked the end. If it weren't for Michael Cole and CM Punk saving Laurinaitis, the match would have really gone downhill quickly.
Okay. Kevin, your fail of the week.
My fail is another Ryder beatdown at the Royal Rumble. And look, if it was about getting Ryder a payday, okay, because I know these guys get paid a lot for being on the major pay-per-views, particularly the Rumble, and the guy deserves it. But really, Kane kicks in the door, drags out a guy with a chest protector on, and beats him some more. Unnecessary, stupid, and a waste of time. But you could have maybe had another match at the Rumble, or I don't know, made the Rumble longer. I just didn't like it. I didn't think it was necessary, and I thought it was unfortunate.
Okay.
With it being that ridiculous, though, wouldn't it have been better if he would have pulled him like off the shitter? Like he's dragging a pantsless rider down and beating him up. Because if you're already ridiculous, you might as well just go the full 10 yards.
Yeah, it's to 11.
Yes, but to talk to Brodus Clay, I mean, he's doing it right now.
Yeah. Hey, it could be Rikishi. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Carvin, your fail of the week.
My fail actually goes to myself. I feel like I am betraying Team Beard because I no longer find Eric Young as entertaining as I did 2 weeks ago. I'm getting bored with Eric Young. And I shouldn't, because he looks fantastic with the beard and all, but just not doing it for me.
There's only so many times you can watch him try to lock up with the referee before it gets old.
Yeah, I like to see characters evolve. If they do the same thing like every single time, it just gets lame.
Well, I mean, Daniel Bryan's still got a beard. I mean, it's a baby beard, but...
Yeah. Don't ask me to choose sides, man.
It'll grow up soon, dude. Don't worry.
My fail of the week is... it was going to be Booker's Jamaican accent. I mean, I know we said it, the anti-racist thing, but that's kind of racist. But anyway, Booker's Jamaican accent. But instead, it's that, honestly, I think we got every single one of our predictions wrong for the Rumble. RVD never showed. Jericho and Orton didn't win. There was no Taker. I think we were like 0-15 on the ancillary predictions we made of the actual Rumble match. None of us saw any of the surprises showing up.
Yeah, and we really should have seen Sheamus be more of a focal point because he was in all the build-up segments.
Yeah.
Like, you knew Heath Slater and Hornswoggle weren't going to do anything, but we should have at least paid attention to the Sheamus part of them.
And not even us, but, like, the only person who even picked Sheamus was Mike.
Yeah.
Out of all of our fans, all of the friends, everybody who, when we talked about it, he was the only one. And he would be on the show right now, except he's sick. I mean, presumably from all the people that were at the Rumble where he was at. So hopefully he'll be well enough to come on next week. But, I mean, I still can't believe we didn't see Duggan coming. I mean, it's like it's like all the stars aligned for Duggan to be on there. And none of us thought, hey. Excuse me. And our question of the week, we're going to throw it up on Facebook. Road Dogg, Hacksaw, and every announcer. Surprises galore on the Rumble. Who is your dream surprise talent to show up out of nowhere for next year's Rumble? As always, you can... I'm sorry. Don't forget to check TWRnetwork.com for all the latest news in wrestling. And while you're there, sign up for the new TWR Network newsletter that will be emailed you once a week because this spam is sexy spam. Talk Wrestling Radio, 24/7 network. Tune in during the day for wrestling talk, show recaps, and wrestling themes and great music. It's really cool. Listen to and download all the shows on the network and leave these comments all over iTunes. We'd love hearing your feedback so we can rub it in rub it in all of the fans of our vanquished. To truly experience what the network is about, attend all the shows live live and definitely be a part of the chat room, because seriously, it's all about the chat room. It's like Twitter, but cooler. Besides the show, check out The Rant on Tuesdays at 8. Our show is on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Ringside Report at Friday at 9. Wrestling Randomness, Saturday at 7 p.m. Wrestling Call-In Show on Saturdays at 11 p.m. And Marked No E Up on Sundays at 6. So definitely check them out. Great shows all over the network. It's like we're like 24-hour news, only we have more to talk about. As always, you can find this episode as well as our entire archive at ftwpodcast.com. Just in case you want to share the experience with others, join us every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at TWR Network. Chat with us and the rest of the listeners at TWR as you listen to us make dick jokes. You can check us out at facebook.com/FTWpodcast, twitter.com/FTWpodcast, youtube.com/FTWpodcast.
The FTW.
I'm sorry, the FTW.
There you go.
Yeah, you get on a roll, and it just, yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, phone us at 313-444-FTW4. That's 313-444-3894, and leave us a voicemail, or you can call us in live when we go live. Download our iOS and Android apps. Buy a t-shirt at ftwpodcast.spreadshirt.com, and there's all kinds of stuff on there. We got an ECW shirt up there. We got like this Attitude Pro Wrestling one that kind of makes fun of MMA and boxing. I'm with Duggan, Proud 10%er. We got some really cool designs up there that are totally awesome and designed by the sexiest man on the planet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And join us next week for the 100th episode of the FTW Podcast Live. We are going to have a cavalcade of stars, meaning people that we could get on the show that were free, that were on there already. But it's going to be fantastic. You're definitely going to have to join us. We're going to be chatting it up, talking wrestling, and we're going to talk about like big stories too. Yeah, we're going to do the news stories and all that stuff also. But we also want to recap, the biggest things that we talked about when we were doing the show, favorite things about it, all that stuff. It's going to be a fantastic time. So make sure you tune in next week. It's going to be great. And we're going to also preview Against All Odds. So don't forget that. As we're done talking about one pay-per-view, we're going to talk about another. Whew, okay, I'm done because I'm about to fall over.
Let's get out of here.
We're
Peace.
Later.
Later, guys.